Hello, everybody, and welcome to your professional diploma in digital marketing and SEO. Today is all about local SEO, and it is part 1 of 2. Did you know that where to buy and near me mobile queries have grown by over 200% in the past 2 years, and their growth shows no signs of slowing down? Let us just quickly recap lesson 5. We looked at tools to check the quality of resource and other pages. We looked at finding existing broken links. You now know how to increase links with a broken link building. And we covered the steps to maintain a healthy link profile. We also included a little checklist at the end. Let's take a look at our objectives for today. We're going to be looking at the core differences between normal and local SEO. We'll then implement SEO's keywords, service in location, which you'll understand a bit later. And we're going to look at generating keywords and understanding volumes of keywords, particularly low volume keywords. Firstly, what is local SEO actually? If someone has a local business like a shop, a restaurant, or a customer-facing office, the focus really shifts to enabling and optimizing for potential customers to discover and visit the location. That is what local SEO is meant to do. A business may also have an online store, but that would have a different strategy. So I think it goes without saying that mobile is the primary device when it comes to local SEO. Local searches on mobile have a higher purchase intent than those on desktop. This means that they want what they are searching for at that moment. Searches on desktop are also important, but they will likely convert at a later stage. So let's have a look at the top ranking factors for local SEO so that you can implement these. Firstly, we have proximity and prominence. And what that's talking about is how close is the searcher to the location. Search engines will display well-known businesses over others. So unfortunately or fortunately, the bigger the local business, perhaps franchised businesses, will generally have a higher chance of showing. But that is due to all the things that we have discussed in this module so far. The amount of traffic that they were receiving, the trust, the domain authority, and generally that is higher when a business is bigger and has more budget and all those different aspects. Then we have NAP citations, and that is name, address, and phone number. NAP citations is the name given for any online mention of these details of a business. One of the most common areas of a NAP citation would be Google My Business. This is a free listing that can appear in 3 places. Firstly, within the standard search results, so the main ones that you see on the left. Then on Google Maps, so when you're looking for a location, Google My Business results can appear. And then in the knowledge panel, so that's what is on the right. We were looking at examples of Zara and V&A Waterfront in a previous lesson, those different results that you can see. Sometimes if you're searching for a historical figure, let's say, or a favorite TV show, then the results on the right, just as a reminder, would be the knowledge panel. In order to gain the most benefit from these listings, they should be in identical format. Google My Business provides some very useful information and features and is an incredibly powerful tool when it comes to local SEO. Firstly, you can include your address, your contact details, the opening hours, reviews of the business, and users can also submit any questions to the business directly from this profile. They can view photos, they can see social media links, get directions, and view any updates that are posted by the business. Think of it almost like another social media channel, but specifically for local SEO. A very interesting fact that we have here is that 80% of the 40,000 Google searches per second are users looking for local services. So it really does go without saying that any business that has a brick and mortar store, so an actual physical location, should be focusing on local SEO without a doubt. There are, of course, other search engines and operating systems that apply to local SEO. Google does hold the majority share of local searches. As we know, they own most of the search engine market share. Many of these searches occur on mobile, with Android and iOS being the top operating systems. On desktop, Bing would be another search engine to pay attention to. Many people are using Outlook or the Microsoft Office suite of products for work, and then a lot of the time here, Microsoft's version of a browser, which is currently called Edge, would be the default, and Bing would therefore be the default search engine. So that is definitely worth paying attention to. Besides tracking purposes, you'll understand why Android and iOS are important things to look at as well in a bit. Did you know that YouTube, Facebook, and Google are the most searched keywords on Google? The most asked question is, what is my IP? I speak for myself when I say I have said that or searched for that several times, I reckon at least once a month. Next up, we have keywords, and we know that these are important for overall SEO. But the keywords used in the Google My Business profile and within the reviews are also ranking factors. So when it comes to adding that description, for example, you need to make sure that there are keywords used there. Then we have online review sentiment and star rating. Now, this is important for overall SEO again, but in local SEO, it is even more so. Reviews from many sources are aggregated and can appear on the Google My Business listing as an aggregated star rating next to the business name. And as much as it might seem like a small thing, if the rating of that star is particularly good, it is proven to increase the chances of someone considering that business. The amount of check-ins is also a signal to Google and other search engines. The number of check-ins on social media, for example, Facebook, as well as check-ins from map activity, for example, here getting directions. These all apply to local SEO. Of course, the check-ins can't be controlled, but they can be encouraged. You could post on social media, for example, asking people to check in, perhaps even giving an incentive. But also, there are just certain types of people who tend to perform that kind of activity versus those who won't. I'm one of them, for example, so it would take quite a bit for me to take that step and check into a business. I'm sure that all of you have seen, if you're using Google Maps, that once you've arrived at a location, then Google Maps will often prompt you to check in, to review the business, or ask questions about the business. So it all kind of works together to create a better profile. There are behavioral signals, of course, when it comes to local SEO. There's the click-through rate, which has been covered in quite a bit of detail before. The time that is spent on the actual listing, the number of direction clicks, and the clicks to call on mobile. Then we have differences in keywords. The way that we search, of course, differs depending on where we are and what we're using. If you think about how you type on your mobile versus your PC, do you type the same way? Do you shorten words? Do you leave them out? If you think about those things, I'm sure you will actually notice that they are quite different. With voice search, keywords are generally longer and more conversational, and this type of search is on the rise most definitely. It's easy to be more conversational when you don't have to physically change what you're doing. For example, typing a search, you have to actually draw your attention away, pick up a device, and then type that with your hands or fingers. So due to this, it is important to have a mix of short, long, and conversational keywords. A common sequence in local searches that has been identified is service plus location. For example, you live in Glendale, California, and you are looking for someone to paint your house. So you might search painter in Glendale, or affordable painter in Glendale, exterior painter in Glendale, etc. So it is the service that you are looking for plus the location. Now, these terms are known as SILs, or rather service in locations. In order to get a good list of these terms, there is a keyword process, as there is with overall SEO. But firstly, you should take all these services and locations or products that you offer and combine each with a location. Obviously, a location that is relevant to you, the locations that you are servicing. You would add common phrases, for example, where to buy, near me, or the best, affordable, emergency, etc., depending on your service, of course. Then you would do a manual search of some of these phrases for any related searches worth adding. For example, related searches are generally at the bottom of the search engine results page, which are clickable so that you can actually then search for that related search. And what this will do is it will result in many keywords to generate further ideas. Remember that we're not going to be necessarily using all of these keywords, but it's good to get a wide range or volume of keywords so that you can narrow it down to the most relevant low competition keywords. Of course, some mobile users do not use a location in their search. Location-specific results are actually expected in this case, just because of how websites, social media, and more have shown how aware they are of our location when interacting with them. These broader searches then might be harder to rank for due to the competition, but long tail variations, so longer keywords, almost full sentences sometimes, are worth researching as well. Let's look at a fact around consumers. 72% of consumers who did a local search visited a store within 5 miles. That is 72% of people who did a local search. That is quite a staggering statistic. And that sentence alone highlights the importance of local SEO. So after all of that, we need to generate more keywords. And so we're just going to jump into a tool commonly referred to as a bulk keyword generator. Let us take a look at this tool here. So bulk keyword generator is a broad term given to a range of different options for generating keywords, but they are offered by different businesses or websites. So in this case, we have highervisibility.com. Here we have the DIY generator, and this is specifically for SILS searches, so service in locations. So if we look at our previous example of Glendale and painter, let's put that in. Let's also put in California so we get a few more results. Painter, exterior, painter. Okay. Then if we look at the bottom here, we can see that this is the format for which keywords are going to be generated. If we were to add a lot, then you would see the value of this a lot more, but it's just so that you don't have to create or add all the different variations of an area and a service. So if we just generate keywords, so now it's directed us to the keyword suggester, but if we scroll to the bottom, we can see that there are more keywords provided than the ones that we entered. So we only gave 2 examples, and we've returned quite a few more. You can also choose your business type here. So if we say painter, painting, exterior painting, house painting, residential painting, professional painting, anything that really applies to the service, you would select those types. We can also then choose the locations. We could have done that in the step before, but let's just do that now. I want to see if anything new comes up. Generate those keywords. And now we have quite a few more available here. So it's nothing new in terms of, you won't see something like affordable painters in Glendale, because that's not something you added to become part of the template. So in this case, but it will give you all the different variations of service plus location, which can be very, very useful. Let's look into keyword volumes in a little bit more detail. So keywords with less than 250 searches per month are considered low volume. They are often hyper-specific, and as a result, they offer a smaller but higher quality volume of traffic. Therefore, conversion rate increases with relevancy, and there is also less competition. Each page on your website, your social media, Google My Business account, etc., can cater for a variety of low volume keywords, as they're more likely to be descriptive and relevant. They are long tail, meaning they're not as broad as short keywords. At the same time, organic traffic isn't limited to the estimated search volume of that keyword, because it will also start ranking for similar searches. It's not a keyword will only rank if it exactly matches the search query situation. We have that for paid advertising keywords called exact match, which limits what an ad will appear for. So let's say you want an ad to appear only for used car for sale and not just car for sale. You could add car for sale in exact match and add it as a targeted keyword or as a negative at the ad group level. So that's just the difference between the two when it comes to paid ads versus organic and how that works. Before we close off for this lesson, I just wanted to show you Google Ads, as this is a great resource or tool to use for checking keyword volumes and competition and just getting general ideas. You will, or we will, go through this in module 3 when we look at paid campaigns, but I just want to show you what this looks like for now. And you can also sign up for this or start an account here without needing to pay anything or even set anything up properly, like tracking or whatever it is. So this is the Google Ads website, and you can select the Start Now button, which should lead you to this page. And you'll see here that you can create a new Google Ads account or just switch the Google account if you've logged into the wrong one, for example. So here we would select a new Google account or Google Ads account. So here we have it. We have a new campaign, and what you need to do is choose your main advertising goal. And this is all really just to get access to the tool that I want to show you. So really it's about choosing any of these at this point. But let's go for the middle and then go to next. Then you just need to give your business a name, and I'm just going to call this test account. Then you go to next. After you've added your business name, then you go to the next section, which is to put in a website. Now, this doesn't have to be your website for these purposes if you're just trying to access the tool or try it out, but it does have to be a working website. Otherwise, it will give you an error. Then you go to next. Then you can see it's scanning the website. It's so-called learning about the business. Here we can see that this is the landing page that people land on when they are on mobile or desktop. But again, this is related to your ad. So this is with regards to paid advertising. So then you go to the next section. And what this will do is it will create an ad for you. This is really based on the kind of category of your website. So with us, of course, it's education. But if I just have a brief look, it's not got anything to do with us. However, again, this is not relevant to us right now. So we can just go to next, completely ignore this. I am just going to skip this bit as well. And this one, here's where you would enter a budget. But again, I'm just going to breeze through that. So this is a review or breakdown of a campaign, but of course it doesn't make any sense to us right now. Go to next. Once you have selected next here, you would be asked for payment details, or rather to create a payment profile. You do need to put a relevant credit card in or some form of relevant payment, but nothing will come off that account until you actually start running a paid campaign. So don't worry about any of that. I'm not going to put in those payment details now, I think for obvious reasons, but I will show you then what it looks like once everything has been set up. Okay, so if you're starting an account from scratch, you won't see much here. But what I want you to focus on is the tools and settings button at the top here. So you would select that. Then you can see there are a whole bunch of options here, which we're not going to go through now. But what I'm looking for is the keyword planner. Then that should load up pretty soon. There we go. You would choose an account that you have created. You might have one or more if you've already or you are already working within Google Ads. I'm just going to choose any of them. And then we have two options. We've got discover new keywords and get search volume and forecasts. What I'm going to do here is just the volume and forecasts because we've talked quite a bit about generating new keywords. But of course, this is another great tool that you can use to do that. And we go through this in module 3 from lessons 6 to 8. But here, if we just go to our volume and forecasts, what we can do is paste in the generated keywords that we've come up with. But for now, let me just put something in. Let's say it's a dance class, just like the homepage of Google Ads. Let's say ballet classes near me. And then get started. It will default onto this page here, which is under forecasts. But if you go to the historical metrics, then what you will see is at the bottom here, we've got the keyword, and then we've also got the average monthly searches. So if we were talking about the low volume keywords just now, then this would be considered a low volume keyword. So I wouldn't necessarily just target that on its own. But it does also say the competition is low and the bids, I mean, it does depend on where you are, but they're not too high. You can actually also refine this a bit more on the top here. So you don't just have to look at the last 12 months. You can look at other periods. Then you can also do other search networks. So not just Google, but Google and its search partners, all languages or specific ones. And then of course, different locations based on where you are. Let us actually go and refine this a little bit. You can also see then how many people you would be targeting. Let us remove Ireland. There we go. So save that. Now we can see actually that has reduced. So based on the location now, we've got 90 monthly searches, which is the average. And then the bids have changed. But this is from, again, the paid side. So this is great to get those monthly searches. But if we were to get more examples, because we do obviously want more than one keyword to look at, and just to reiterate, this is a paid advertising tool, but this is still including the organic searches. You know, it's not just people who might see an ad, for example. That's actually not a thing. But if we wanted to get more ideas, then we would go to the keyword ideas. And then if we go for a very broad search of ballet classes, then we can get some results going here. You can see you can start with keywords or start with a website. And here we go. So we have 675 keyword ideas available. So if you're looking for new keywords and you haven't yet used a previous tool to generate keywords, then this is a great way to do that. You have your keyword ideas on the left, and then it also includes the average monthly searches. So there aren't many here that would be considered high volume, but it is relatively niche, and you could find ways to target all of these queries, because if you're targeting, for example, adult ballet classes, you won't just appear for this term because it is still relevant or similar to other search terms. For example, this next one, adult ballet classes near me, that is a more local search, but both are still relevant. And that's it. Yet another tool that you can use to generate and get ideas for and volumes for your keywords. Let us quickly recap lesson 6. We looked at the core differences between normal and local SEO. We implemented SEO's keywords, service in locations. You now know how to generate keywords, and you understand a bit more about low volume searches. Just before we close off for today, I wanted to just give you a few interesting facts about RankBrain. Now, RankBrain is Google's machine learning or AI algorithm that is used to sort search results. It also helps to process and understand queries. So previously, changes to the search engine were done manually, as in hand-coded. People are still involved, but RankBrain makes changes too. If it has a positive impact, so people like it, then it changes or it remains in place. But if not, then it is reverted back. So RankBrain is continuously analyzing your experience off the search engine as well. If you've heard of UX before, this is where it comes in, user experience signals. Of course, they don't only apply here, but these are very important to marketing and performance as a whole. There are specific signals, one being organic CTR, which we'll be looking at in the next lesson. How much time you spend on the page is also a factor. Whether you leave the page straight away, so that's bounce rate, and if you go back and forth between search results. Congratulations, everybody. You have now completed your 6th lesson in Module 2 of your professional diploma in digital marketing and SEO. In Lesson 7, we continue our journey into local SEO as we look at implementing map listings, creating and managing NAP citations, learning about local links and creating web pages, and then optimizing your organic CTR. Really looking forward to it, and I'll see you soon.